Welcome back to Layer by Layer Go, the show where we stir up music, food, life lessons, and a bit of gumption every week. I'm Don, and this episode is landing at the perfect moment because today's theme hits close to home. What you repeat, you become. What you repeat, you become. What you repeat, you become. What you repeat. Now, before we dive in, I've got a quick win to share. My Layer by Layer Go journal is officially out in the world. It got published this week, and as of this morning, we're live on Amazon, and we've already made our first sale. Somebody somewhere out there took the leap. They decided to start writing things down to build a life layer by layer, one word, one page at a time. If that was you, thank you. If it wasn't yet, maybe today's the day. You can find the journal at layerbylayergo.com/tools. Let's talk about this phrase. What you repeat, you become. We don't build a better life by thinking about it once. We build it by doing something small again and again until it becomes who we are. I've seen it in songwriting. I've seen it in the kitchen. I've seen it in my own comeback stories. That's why today's featured track is such a power anthem. Invincible by Kelly Clarkson. Written by none other than Sia, right before she truly exploded as one of the most in-demand pop writers on the planet. This song wasn't just a radio hit, it was a statement. Now I am invincible. No, I ain't a scared little girl no more. That's not just a lyric, that's a mirror. How many times do you have to sing it before you start to feel it? Songwriting truth bomb. If you want to write something unforgettable, write something repeatable. Write something someone can chant like a battle cry or whisper like a prayer, because what they sing becomes who they are. You want to change someone's life with your music? Start by changing the way they talk to themselves. That's what this song does. That's what you can do too. So go give that a listen. You'll find links to all of the songs in all my episodes on layerbylayergo.com. You'll find it on the episodes page. This is episode 7, so you can go there and you'll find a link to that to listen to it and check out the lyrics and how they delivered it. Kelly Clarkson is an amazing singer. She won American Idol for a good reason. And that song totally hits home. I think you'll enjoy that. All right, here's a little bonus segment for you I'd like to offer. We'll call this They Started Unknown, Just Like You. These are some real stories of songwriters who broke through from nothing. Let's hit pause for a second, because if you're listening to this thinking, who am I kidding? I'm not famous. I've got no connections. I'm writing songs in the margins of a life that's already stretched thin. You're not alone. But more importantly, you're not stuck, because some of the most legendary songwriters started out just like you, working day jobs, getting rejected, scribbling lyrics during their commute. What made the difference? They didn't stop. Here's some stories for you. Alan Shamblin, the FedEx songwriter. He was a delivery guy writing lyrics in his truck, literally jotting down lines between stops. No music biz family, no manager, but he kept showing up at songwriter nights in Nashville until someone finally heard one of his songs. That song, I Can't Make You Love Me. Bonnie Raitt made it a classic. Alan made it by being too persistent to ignore. Ben Hayslip, from chicken coop to country radio. Ben was scrubbing chicken houses in Georgia. Not exactly a hotbed of publishing deals. But every night, he'd come home and write, and rewrite. It took him 12 years to get a hit. And when it landed, it wasn't a whisper. It was Brooks and Dunn. Now he's got multiple number ones. But it all started with one guy and a legal pad. Liz Rose, from assistant to award winner. Liz was a secretary in the publishing world. She had zero plans to become a songwriter until someone invited her to try co-writing. One of her first real partners, a teenager named Taylor Swift. Together they shaped the sound of a generation. And it all started because Liz said yes to showing up, even when she felt unqualified. Natalie Hemby, 10 years of no. Natalie moved to Nashville and didn't get a hit for 10 years. She worked in publishing, wrote for unsigned acts, and almost gave up. But she kept writing what she believed in. Eventually, one stuck. White Liar by Miranda Lambert. Now, she's a Grammy winner, one of the most respected pens in Nashville. Neil Diamond, from staff writer to star. Neil was writing songs for others long before he ever stood on stage. In the 1960s, he was grinding it out in a New York cubicle. Just another contract writer. Then the Monkees recorded his song, I'm a Believer. I'm sure you've probably heard it by Smash Mouth. It exploded, and when Neil finally stepped up to the mic with his songs, the world leaned in and never let go. John Denver, a voice nobody saw coming. Before anyone knew his name, John Denver was writing for other people. He wrote Leaving on a Jet Plane, made famous by Peter, Paul, and Mary. That one song cracked the door open. He walked through it with Take Me Home Country Roads, and the rest is history. Barry Manilow, king of jingles. You know Barry Manilow's voice, but before that, he was writing commercial jingles for Band-Aid, State Farm, McDonald's, and Dr. Pepper. He made them catchy, emotional, unforgettable, even though they were ads. Then he took those same melodic instincts and built a solo career that filled stadiums. What does that tell you? If you can write one hook that moves people, you're already halfway there. The real message I'm trying to offer here is you can too. These people weren't born into it. They didn't have followers. They didn't know the gatekeepers. But they showed up again and again and again. They kept repeating the thing they wanted to become until they became it. That's the secret. Not magic, not luck, repetition, dedication, belief. So if you're writing at midnight after a shift, if you're hiding your lyrics from judgmental coworkers, if nobody around you gets it, do it anyway. Because every time you put pen to page or voice to melody, you're building something real. And what you repeat, you become. All right, let's step into the kitchen. Because if you're going to repeat something till you become it, might as well become delicious. Today's dish, French onion soup. This may or may not be the French chef Julia Child's French onion soup, but this is one that I've made and it's absolutely delicious. This soup has one job: transform pain into power. Just like life. You take something sharp, onions, and throw slow, steady heat. You turn it into something sweet, rich, and bold. It's a metaphor in a bowl, folks. A little history lesson, don't worry, it's quick. French onion soup goes way back. Think 17th century Paris. Back alley taverns and hungry drunk guys begging for something hot at 2 a.m. Back then, onions were cheap, basically peasant food. You didn't cook with onions because you were fancy. You cooked with onions because it's all you had. But here's the beauty. Even with humble ingredients, you could still make something gourmet if you had patience. And that's the secret to life and songwriting, right? You don't need a $10,000 mic or truffle oil to be great. You need to show up, stir, and not quit when it gets ugly. Here's the French onion soup recipe. This is Dawn style. No crying. Ingredients: 4 to 5 yellow onions, thinly sliced, 2 tablespoons of butter plus 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon sugar, trust me, it helps the browning, A half cup dry white wine, optional, but it does whisper, "I've been to France." Or you could use a little dry sherry, if you know, whichever you have. 6 cups of broth. I usually use chicken broth myself. I think traditionally they use beef broth, or veggie if you must. 1 to 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce gives it the umami punch we've mentioned before. A sprig or pinch of thyme, baguette slices, or some of my now world famous sourdough bread toasted. See episodes 2 and 4 for more details. 1.5 cups shredded Gruyere or Swiss cheese. All right, here's some no-cry onion hacks. Let's be honest, slicing onions make most people sob like they just finished season 5 of This Is Us. So here's your defense kit. Here's 6 tips for you on trying to eliminate those crying hacks when you're slicing onions. You want a sharp knife. Dull blades bruise. A sharp one glides. Chill your onions. 30 minutes in the fridge. Open flame nearby if you have a candle or a burner to pull the fumes. Breathe through your mouth. Looks weird, works great. Cut the root last. That's where the eye stinger lives. And of course, goggles. Yep. You'll look like a steampunk villain, but with dry eyes. Here's the instructions. You got your onions. You're going to caramelize them in a big, heavy stock pot. Melt the butter and oil over medium heat. Toss in your sliced onions, salt, and sugar. Stir them. Then turn the heat down low and let them go for 30 to 40 minutes. Stir every 5 to 10. And don't panic when they look sad halfway through. The gold comes later. Deglaze. When they're a soft golden brown and smell like heaven's armpit, add your wine. Scrape the bottom of the pan to get all the flavor bits, aka brown gold. Simmer. Add your broth, Worcestershire, and thyme. Simmer uncovered for 20 to 30 minutes. Taste and adjust. Add a splash more wine if your inner French chef says so. Toast the bread. Slice the baguette or that world famous sourdough. Toast it like you mean it. Assemble into oven safe bowls. You could use ramekins if you like. Float a toasted slice of bread on top, or you can break it up into chunks. Add a heap of shredded cheese. Broil until bubbly and browned. Serve. Eat slowly. Close your eyes. Feel your ancestors nod in approval. This soup is what happens when you stick with something long enough to watch it change. At first, onions bite. They may make you cry, but over time they melt. They sweeten. Just like pain, just like rejection, just like songwriting. So if your journey's been making your eyes burn, stick with it. The sweetness comes later, just like this soup. I've got a bonus recipe for you since it is midsummer. This happens to be middle of July while I'm recording this. This is called Don's Peach Cobbler. Now listen, I couldn't end this episode without giving you something sweet because life ain't just soup and suffering. Sometimes you gotta scoop joy into a bowl and eat it with your feet up. That's where this peach cobbler comes in. This is a southern hug in a casserole dish. Cobbler is the anti-perfectionist dessert. You don't have to pipe anything. You don't need a springform pan. You just need fresh peaches, a decent oven, and the confidence to say, yep, I'm going to pour this batter over butter and see what happens. It originated in the American South, often served by families who didn't have time or tools for a proper pie, so they cobbled it together. And guess what? It became iconic. So here's the recipe for Don's Midsummer Peach Cobbler. The peaches, you need 6 to 7 ripe peaches, peeled and sliced, of course. Pull the pits out. Now, I use allulose if I want a sugar substitute. I'll use a half cup of allulose or sugar, or whatever sugar substitute you like. that equals a half cup. Okay, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a pinch of nutmeg if you like. So that's for the filling. For the batter, you need a half cup of butter, which is basically 1 stick, 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of allulose or sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a pinch of salt, 1 cup of milk, whole milk if you love yourself. You could also use other types of milks, almond milk, oat milk. Oh gosh, there's all kinds of milks out there. All right, so here are the instructions. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Put that butter in a 9 by 13 inch baking dish, or an 8 by 8, or if you have a round glass pie dish, that could work too. Put that butter in, let it melt in the oven while it preheats. Simmer the peaches on the stove with sugar, lemon, cinnamon, and nutmeg for about 5 to 7 minutes. Let them soften and release that juicy goodness. In a bowl, mix the batter, flour, sugar, baking powder, salt, and milk. Stir until it's smooth and unapologetically pourable. Pour the batter over the melted butter. Do not stir. Let the layers do their dance. Spoon the peach mixture on top. Again, do not stir. Bake for 40 to 45 minutes until golden and bubbly. Serve warm with ice cream, whipped cream, or straight from the pan with a spoon and zero shame. Might want to let it cool down a little bit first so you can handle it, but it is best served warm, even with nice cold vanilla ice cream on top. Here's your takeaway. Cobbler doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for flavor, honesty, and warmth. And if you don't have fresh, ripe Georgia peaches handy, heck, there's nothing shabby about a nice blueberry cobbler, cherry cobbler, apple cobbler, or for you pizza lovers, pineapple cobbler. You name it, make it yours, just like you. You don't have to be polished. You just have to show up and bring what you got. So bake this baby, take a picture of it, eat it like you mean it, then get back to your dream. Because what you repeat, you become, and dessert makes the journey a whole lot sweeter. All right, let's move on to section 3. The journal has landed. How to actually use it to change your life. Let's step back from the soup and the songwriting and talk about something that just became real. The Layer by Layer Go journal that we've been talking about is now out in the world. And not only is it live, it's selling. Yep, we made a book. People are already grabbing it off the digital shelf. So I want to slow down and tell you why this thing exists and how it can actually help you, whether you're a songwriter, a home cook, a stay-at-home dad, or even a bored banker who secretly writes poems between meetings. Why a journal? Because your brain wasn't built to hold everything, and your dream, the one you keep saying someday to, it's going to stay locked inside you until you write it down. What you repeat, you become. And journaling is the most powerful form of intentional repetition you'll ever have. It's not fluff. It's not Dear Diary. It's a muscle, a tool, a map. What's inside this journal? The Layer by Layer Go journal is more than just blank pages. It's structured to guide you through real-life momentum, daily free writing space, clear the mental junk drawer before it spills over, creative triggers, songwriting starters, idea sparks, lyric seeds, kitchen notes because that brilliant recipe tweak needs to live somewhere, reflection and reset pages to review what's working and ditch what's not. Each page has breathing room. It's not crammed with gimmicks. You can write like a poet or scribble like a maniac. It's your space. There's no wrong way to use this thing. Who's it for? The short answer, you. Long answer, here's who I had in mind when I made it. The songwriter who keeps losing great lines to napkins and voice memos. The cook who finally perfected that dish and wants to remember exactly how. the overworked parent who needs 10 minutes of sanity in a private place to dream again, the planner who's burned out on planners, because this one lets you be messy, bold, and real, the quiet creator who's too scared to start but keeps hearing that whisper to begin, the bored professional whose soul's been screaming for a passion project. Whether you write songs, recipes, to-do lists, poems, rants, or just your day felt, this journal holds space for you, and every time you show up and write something, you're repeating that you're worth building, that your life is worth tracking, that your voice matters. How to use it? Here's a simple starter routine. 15 minutes a day. Free write for 5 minutes. Whatever's in your head, get it out. No filter. The reference, episode 1 on free writing. On each day, you write your date, and you put the episode I'm working on from today, episode number whatever. This is number 7 on this one. And then you start writing today's focus. And then the song in my head. And then meals or recipe ideas. Then your top 3 goals. Then you can jot down today's wins. And then you can put gratitude list. It's good to write down your gratitude list. And then let it go, what I'm releasing. Then on that same day, on the opposite page, you've got a huge section for your free writing and reflections. You can scribble, you can draw little faces, you can do whatever you want. There's plenty of space for you on each day. You do that for 30 days and you'll have a snapshot of your evolution. You'll see what you're building layer by layer. We even left the spine blank on purpose. You can grab a Sharpie and write Susan's Layers Volume 1 or Mike's Master Plan Book 2. This journal isn't just a tool. It's the start of a personal library, a creative legacy, layer by layer, book by book, idea by idea. Imagine lining up your bookshelf one day and seeing Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, each one packed with songs, recipes, doodles, dreams, plans, pivots, your actual journey. Not some template, yours. Look, I didn't make this journal to get rich. I made it because I know what it's like to feel stuck, scattered, and like your best ideas are trapped in a fog of busy days. I needed something real to help me focus again, so I built it. Then I printed it, and now it's here for you. Again, you can grab a copy at layerbylayergo.com/tools or find it on Amazon. You can just go to Amazon and search Layer by Layer Go, and it'll pop right up. And if you already got one, take a picture, tag me. Let's see what kind of beauty and boldness you're building. Here's a final reminder on this. You are not just getting through the week. You are building something. So write it down, repeat it, and become it. Okay, segment 4. As promised, this is part 2 of music marketing, tools without selling out. All right, welcome to part 2 of our 3-part songwriter series, how to market your music without selling your soul. Today's focus, tools, because writing great songs is one thing, but getting them heard, that's a whole other game. You can't just hope for lightning to strike. You need the right tools, used the right way to build real visibility without turning into a sellout. Let's walk through them. All right, number 1, playlists and curators. There's Submit Hub, Groover, Playlist Push. They're tools, not miracles. You can use them. Don't blast your song into the void. Do your homework. Find curators who already love your genre. Write personal notes. Mention a playlist you enjoyed. Make it human. And if you get a no, keep going. Curators say no to Beyonce too. They say no to me. I've had songs rejected. I've had songs accepted. But you're going to have to be able to hear and take no. And you just keep on going. The key thought, an emotional connection, you'll have algorithm wins. One real curator beats 1,000 vanity placements. Number 2, sync licensing. We've got Pond 5, Audio Jungle, Marmoset. Your music can become someone else's soundtrack. Think indie filmmakers, wedding videos, the YouTubers. They're starving for emotional authenticity. Create instrumental versions. I do that. I'll take some of the songs off my album. I've got all my material. I just remove the vocals. I've got some really nice backgrounds. Tag your tracks by feeling. Hopeful, raw, sunset drive, underwater heartbreak. Price fairly. Don't sell your soul for $5, but don't wait for a record deal either. The big picture. This is where your music serves the story. It doesn't need to be famous. It just needs to be felt. Number 3, social media without losing yourself. 1 honest moment a week beats daily performance. Tell the story behind the song, where it came from, what it means now. Post once, log off, let it ripple. People don't want more content, they want something real. Here's a tip. Ask yourself, what does this song mean to me today? Post that. Done. That's on social media. Number 4, email lists. The underdog tool. This is the tool nobody brags about, but the smart ones all use. Build a list on your website. Offer something true, a demo, a journaling page, a behind-the-scenes clip. Then send a short email once a month. Not spam, just connection. Email is not dead. Social is the party. Email is the conversation after. Here's some journal prompts for you. Which tool do I secretly enjoy using? Which one drains me? What could I do consistently that still feels like me? Okay, and here's a planning drill based on this with these tools. Pick 1 tool this week. Post 1 story. Write 1 email. Share 1 insight. Because what you repeat, you become. And that's it for this week's Layer by Layer Go. We've stirred soup, sparked songs, sweetened the deal with Cobbler, and built real practical momentum for your music and your mindset. But hey, can I brag for a second? We are now officially listed on Amazon Music. Yep. Just search Layer by Layer Go on Amazon Music and we'll pop up right there next to your shopping cart. We're also on Deezer, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on all sorts of platforms. But we just got accepted to Amazon Music. We're pretty proud of that. All these links are on our website if that's easier for you to find it. Either way, we're out there, loud and proud. And even more exciting, we're gaining traction. Showing up in podcast directories, Amazon, browser searches, even casual scrolls. That means this thing is moving, and that's because of you. If you've been enjoying the ride, want to help us grow? Like or rate the show on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you're turning in. Subscribe or follow so you never miss a beat. Share it with someone who's got a dream, a kitchen, a notebook, or a half-written chorus on their phone. And if you want to keep the lights on, visit us on Buy Me a Coffee, which is coffee, coff.ee/layer by layer go. Now, if you're feeling generous, we've got some amazing thank you gifts. If you donate $25 or more, you'll get a free signed CD, my personal gift to you. $50 or more, you'll get a signed CD plus a signed copy of the brand new Layer by Layer Go companion journal. If you donate $100 or more, get it all. Both of my albums, a signed journal, and a custom t-shirt of your choice. Just leave a note in the coffee gift shop with your shirt size, preferred style, and your shipping address, and we'll handle the rest. Supplies are limited, and the journal's hot off the press. So jump in while you can. Again, this will have to be the US only. I can't deal with those custom forms. Coming up, next week, Staying Visible Without Selling Out, the finale of our 3-part Songwriter series. Then, I'm giving you 12 real things you can do today to get your music heard. No hype, no fluff, just real action. Until then, keep showing up, keep writing, keep stirring the pot, because what you repeat, you become. This is Don, and this is Layer by Layer Go.